All right, it's the Silver Fox here. Hey, sorry about that. We had a little visitor in here. Um, so I was talking about PCGS. It only took a few minutes to talk to him, and also really receptive for my questions. And my follow-up questions were easily answered, um, as well as they welcomed me trying to figure out how to skirt by the open box policy they have for the COAs. So that was cool. Um, and the final review is going to be of the U.S. Mint, both on their messaging, like live chat, and their phone call. And I'll start with the live messaging. Just kind of like the other graders, even though the U.S. Mint's a producer of the coins. Their live messaging isn't very accurate. When I asked them if the Peace Dollar had a Director Gibson COA, they said they didn't have enough information to say if they did or didn't. So kind of disappointing on that front. You think they would be on the same page as the telephone agents, but it must be a contracted service because you can probably work anywhere in the world and be a chat agent. So I think that's kind of true for anything like internet or I'm trying to think what else. Anything like customer service related, something breaks on a toy or an item or, a lot of electronics, cell phone, internet, that kind of thing. It always seems like it's outsourced. And then I will say that the agents on the telephone, they're usually pretty nice. And I spoke to two agents because it was conflicting information with the live chatter. And the first person had a little bit of conflicting information between the second agent on the telephone. The only thing was my follow-up questions, which they probably didn't even know existed. But they had a bulletin about the COA for the 2023 piece, and one agent said that it was randomized, and then another agent said it was only on the live drop on the website. But at least they both confirmed that there was such a thing, because initially I thought the birthday card was the COA, and I didn't notice the black COA that ironically enough says Director Strike. I just didn't see it because I didn't blow up the photo. But they both confirmed it, so that was fine. And they're usually pretty nice on the telephone, and I've called them one other time for a return, and it was pretty easy to do, and they were nice about it. I will say, I think maybe I was on the phone for a couple of minutes before they answered. So they're not too bad. PCGS, I find it a little hard to believe how long the wait is, because I called like 2 days prior and I forgot that they were based out of California, so I didn't answer the telephone. And then later I realized it was them. And I called them back at about noon, 1 o'clock Mountain Time, and it already said the queue was so long that they wouldn't accept calls for that day. So I kind of find it a little surprising that what some people believe is the best grader actually has pretty slow phone call callbacks, as well as their messaging isn't very accurate. So I find that kind of surprising. I know people regard their grading as creme de la creme, usually top grading. So just kind of interesting. Never really had to deal with that ever. And so now if I hear anybody about grading and how slow it is and how they can't get a hold of anybody or the issues, can definitely understand why people are so frustrated. And I don't know, it kind of turns me off from doing any grading as well. And I know CAC G or CAC grading, CACG, is just starting to roll out. But I know that you kind of have to be a CAC already in the CAC system and maybe be a dealer or whatever the requirements are. So I never really thought about calling them, and I didn't put them in the COA pool for encapsulating, just because I think a lot of people can't even send their stuff in. So kind of missed the boat on that. I didn't really start collecting till maybe like 2-3 years ago, when I actually had the free time and money. And I really didn't know about it, and I didn't know that you could used to submit them for free. I think it was free if it didn't grade, if I'm correct. So, or if you didn't get the green bean. So kind of wish I hopped on that boat, but I'm sure there'll be something else down the road to where I'll hop on it. So just great to be in the hobby. I know there's a lot of people that share the same opinions or have similar interests, and I don't really have anybody that I'm friends with that even coin collects. I have a buddy who collects some bullion, but he just finds the coins overwhelming, so he doesn't really touch into it, which I think when I first restarted coin collecting, I really didn't get back into it knowing a whole lot. And so I went to my first coin show, and yeah, it was so overwhelming. I don't even think I bought anything, and everything seems so expensive. So that's what I know on the graders and the US Mint. And I think if I had to pick a grader, I don't know, I think I might pick NGC, and then I'd like to pick cat grading, just to see how it would turn out. And the US Mint, you can't really change anything about that, but I think they do a pretty good job. I'll also do a US Mint tour video review a little bit later. I did the Denver, or I guess I didn't exactly do the Denver Mint. There were some hiccups along the way to where it couldn't even go, even though we showed up when they first opened. So I'll tell that story later. But that's what I've experienced, and if anybody wants to chime in their best grading moments or worst, or who you like better, who you like worse, that'd be great. If you want to talk about the US Mint, you know, you can do that too, but you can't really do a whole bunch of changing, so it is what it is, you know. So we'll see you on the next one. I'll do some more reviews. I'll do some more 2023 PCOA news and information, and keep you guys updated. And we'll see you on the next one. See you guys.